Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal CANADIENS fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NHL news cycle lately, you've probably noticed that the Montreal Canadiens are quietly, but surely, building their roster for the upcoming season. It's not like they've been splashing huge amounts of cash or making headline-grabbing trades. But make no mistake, the Canadiens have been quite strategic in their moves. They've been laying the groundwork for a competitive, versatile team that can challenge in the Atlantic Division and possibly make a real push for the Stanley Cup. And what's interesting is that their off-season moves are pointing toward a more balanced and deep roster, especially on the defensive end. The Canadiens have been very active in acquiring players who can make a real difference, and they've been doing so with a clear plan in mind. Take, for example, their recent acquisition of Noah Dobson from the New York Islanders. Now, Dobson is a talented young defenseman who brings size, skill, and a lot of potential. He's a player who can contribute both offensively and defensively, and his addition signals that the Canadiens are serious about strengthening their back end. Dobson is already showing signs of becoming a core piece for Montreal, and his presence will be vital as they look to improve their defensive structure and overall team depth. But that's just the start. The Canadiens have also extended Jayden Struble, a young defenseman with a lot of promise, and they're planning to have Ivan Demidov in the mix from the very start of the season. Demidov, a Russian prospect, is a player to watch. He's got the size, the skating ability, and the hockey IQ that could allow him to step into the NHL sooner rather than later. All these moves point toward a strategy focused on developing young talent, while also bringing in experienced players to balance the roster. However, the Canadiens aren't stopping there. Rumors and reports suggest that they're still looking to bolster their defense even further, and this is where things get really interesting. Heavy. Com recently proposed an intriguing idea that could reshape the Canadiens' defensive core even more. The proposal, trading for Brett Kulak from the Edmonton Oilers. Now, Kulak is not a stranger to Canadiens fans. He played with Montreal for parts of 4 seasons before being traded to Edmonton, and he's a player who's familiar with the Canadiens' system and culture. The beauty of Kulak is his versatility. He's a left-handed defenseman, standing 6'2" and weighing around 192 pounds, with the ability to play on either side. Over the years, he's developed into a well-rounded defender, capable of handling tough matchups and providing solid minutes. His previous stint with Montreal was marked by steady, reliable play, and he's demonstrated that he can handle significant minutes, especially in critical moments. In his career with Edmonton, Kulak has played an average of around 20 minutes per game, and during the playoffs, he's gone even higher, showing he can handle pressure and contribute against top-tier competition. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. The Oilers are reportedly interested in acquiring Mike Matheson from Montreal in this potential deal. Matheson, a 31-year-old left-handed defenseman, has been a steady presence for the Canadiens, playing around 25 minutes a night and contributing offensively with 31 points in 80 games last season. He's a reliable puck mover and has played on both the right and left sides, giving coaches flexibility. The trade, if it happens, would see Montreal sending Matheson to Edmonton in exchange for Kulak and potentially adding a young goaltender, Jacob Dubs, to the mix. Dubs, at 24, is a promising goalie drafted in 2020, standing 6'4" and weighing 214 pounds. He's shown flashes of brilliance in limited NHL appearances, posting a .743 record with a solid save percentage of .909 and a goals against average of .274. This kind of move makes sense for both sides. For Montreal, acquiring Kulak means bringing back a player who's familiar with the team's style and who can slot into their defensive depth chart immediately. His experience and versatility would give head coach Martin St. Louis more options to deploy against tough opponents. For Edmonton, Adding Matheson provides a strong, two-way defenseman who can contribute offensively and help stabilize their blue line. Plus, the potential to develop a young goaltender like Dubs adds future depth in net, which is crucial in today's NHL, where goaltending depth is often the difference maker in long playoff runs. Let's talk a bit more about Kulak's fit within the Oilers and how he's been utilized. Since arriving in Edmonton, Kulak has generally served as a third-pairing defenseman, but he's shown he can step up when needed. Early in his tenure with the Oilers, he averaged about 17 minutes per game, but during the playoffs, his ice time increased to over 23 minutes in some instances, especially when injuries or matchups required it. His ability to play on either side, combined with his skating ability, makes him a valuable asset. His coach, Chris Nobluch, has praised his intelligence and mobility, highlighting his capacity to handle top players and contribute on both special teams and in 5-on-5 play. On the other hand, the Oilers' current defensive group is quite left-handed heavy, with players like Matthias Ekholm, Darnell Nurse, Jake Wallman, and Kulak. While that gives Edmonton some stability, it also creates a need for more balance and flexibility. Kulak's ability to play on both sides and his experience in key playoff moments makes him a perfect candidate to fill that gap. Meanwhile, the Canadiens, by making such a move, could accelerate their rebuild, adding a veteran presence who knows what it takes to succeed at the NHL level. Another crucial aspect of this potential trade involves contract situations. Kulak is currently in the final year of a 4-year deal worth $2.75 million annually. This gives the Canadiens a chance to evaluate his performance and decide whether to extend him before he hits free agency next summer. For the Canadiens, locking in Kulak on an extension could be a smart move, especially if he continues to perform well in Montreal, providing stability and leadership on the back end. For Edmonton, acquiring Kulak now and potentially extending him later could be a strategic move to maintain a strong defensive core without overcommitting long-term. And it's not just about these two players. This trade proposal also throws in Jacob Dubs, a young goaltender with considerable upside. Dubs has shown he can handle NHL-level pressure and has the size and skill to develop into a reliable backup or even a future starting goalie. The Oilers, by adding him, get a prospect who can challenge for the backup role and provide organizational depth in net, which has been a concern for them in recent seasons. The Canadiens, on the other hand, get a veteran defenseman in Kulak, who can immediately step into their lineup, bring leadership, and add depth for the playoff push. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on what this means for the Canadiens' overall strategy. Montreal has always been a franchise that values smart, disciplined hockey, and their recent moves indicate they're building a team that can compete now, but also has a strong foundation for the future. Their focus on developing young talent like Ivan Demidov and extending Jadon Struble, combined with strategic trades like acquiring or possibly requiring Kulak, shows a balanced approach. They want to be competitive in the Atlantic, which is arguably the toughest division in the NHL, with teams like Boston, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Florida all vying for supremacy. The Canadiens also have to think about their long-term plans, particularly with their young core. Players like Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki are already establishing themselves as franchise players, but surrounding them with depth, experience, and smart acquisitions is key. Bringing back Kulak, a player who's already familiar with the Montreal culture and style of play, could help the team gel faster and be more resilient during the grind of the NHL season. Additionally, the coaching staff's emphasis on versatility and adaptability is evident. Kulak's ability to play on both sides and handle different roles makes him a perfect fit for the Canadiens' evolving system. It's clear that head coach Martin St. Louis values players who can adapt and bring energy and intelligence to the ice. His praise for Kulak's skating and competitive nature underscores how much the team appreciates those qualities. This kind of leadership and experience can be invaluable for a team looking to take the next step in their development. And let's not forget the bigger picture. The Atlantic Division is incredibly competitive right now. The Bruins are still at the top, but teams like Toronto and Tampa Bay are always contenders, and Florida is pushing hard. Montreal's goal is to climb that ladder, and smart, strategic moves like this potential trade can help bridge the gap. Building a deep, versatile defense is often the foundation of a successful playoff run, and acquiring a player like Kulak makes a lot of sense in that context. To wrap it up, Montreal Canadiens fans, what do you think about this potential move? Do you see Kulak as the kind of player who can bolster your team and help you make a serious playoff push? Or do you think the Canadiens should focus on other areas of their roster? Whatever your thoughts, I want to hear from you in the comments below. This is an exciting time for the Canadiens, and every move they make now could shape their future for years to come. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and insights, so stay tuned and keep supporting your Canadiens. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Montreal Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news.